With probably the biggest crisis that's unfolding in the neighborhood, then that's Myanmar. And who's doing it is China's doing. The situation in Myanmar has reached a boiling point as ethnic armed organizations like the Arakan Army have gained the upper hand in the ongoing conflict. These groups now control large parts of territory, including key border points with Bangladesh, dealing a heavy blow to Myanmar's military junta. In fact, the map that we are going to put out for you viewers, that tells you exactly what's happening. For China, this power shift could be disastrous as it threatens its multi-billion-dollar infra projects and strategic investments in the country. And at the heart of China's interests lie the China-Myanmar economic corridor that you can see, a flagship initiative that promises to secure China's energy supplies while sidestepping the choke point that is the Strait of Malacca. But most think that Beijing is really part of the problem. Its support for the military junta after the 2021 coup, being the single largest provider of arms to the junta and trying to mainstream the brutal army have all contributed the mess that Myanmar is in right now. But that's only half of the complex geopolitical game. On one hand, China is making overtures to the junta, supporting infra projects like the new Yangon City and several others, the railway line. And on the other hand, it uses the carrot and stick strategy to reach out to the ethnic armed organizations as well, trying to cut their resources, cut their supply lines, try and make them also on China's side. But with this rising instability in Myanmar, what is really happening is that China's bet is actually now a double-edged sword. And the kicker really is that China has everything to lose. If the junta crumbles, it risks losing control of crucial territories and pipelines, not to mention the rare earth minerals that are essential to its high-tech industries. With rebel groups gaining ground in those resource-rich regions, Beijing is facing increasing disruptions to its supply chains. Prices of rare earth materials have surged, putting pressure on China's economy and, most importantly, its EV ambitions. In northern Shan state, meanwhile, Chinese investment projects are now under the control of rebels and People's Defense Forces, further complicating China's plans. These groups now hold the geopolitical leverage. They dictate the terms of trade and military influence along Myanmar's border with China, none of which is what Beijing really anticipated when it started getting into this Myanmar mess. And as the situation continues to spiral, China finds itself between a rock and a hard place. It is caught between supporting the embattled junta and maintaining a relationship with the increasingly powerful rebels with which it has no hold on. And it's not just Myanmar. The ripple effects are actually being felt in the entire region, including in India. The instability is pushing New Delhi to now shore up its defenses along the porous Myanmar-India border. And as China's investments face mounting risks, it may soon find itself on the losing end of a wider regional conflict, one that could drag India and several other players in it as well. Beijing has tried to juggle both sides, but in this high-risk game, it may soon discover that it cannot have its cake and eat it too. And suppose the junta falls and the rebels actually gain control. In that case, China will be left holding an empty bag, investments at risk, and strategic projects all hanging by a thread. In the end, China may have underestimated the stakes. Myanmar was meant to be a crown jewel in Beijing's BRI. Instead, it's turning out to be a costly gamble, one where China seems to have placed all the wrong bets.